Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Riley, and I have a super long video for you, probably my longest video that I've ever produced on this channel. So my longest video ever, and this is going to be a 120 mile ride we did. Now these are just some of the highlights and some of the parts. I didn't obviously film the whole ride because that would have been like 4 or 5 hours of footage, but here's just some of the highlights and parts of this 120 mile ride we did from Sandy, Utah, to south of Utah Lake, over the mountains, up to Silver City, back through Tooele, around to Salt Lake, and back to Sandy, a huge loop. In the end, it came out to be 120 miles. Definitely an adventure ride, to say the least. Now, if you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel because I am trying to make this channel grow, and that means a lot. If you would please just hit that subscribe button, and also while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate it if you do those two things. Thank you. So now, we're starting this ride out. Sorry if the angle is kind of weird. Usually I mount my camera, my GoPro, to my head, my helmet, but I didn't, for some reason the GoPro mount for the helmet was not working right, so I had to use a makeshift mount on my handlebars. So the views you're going to get through this whole ride are going to be through on my handlebars. So sorry if it's not the best view, but I wasn't about to ride this whole trip and not record anything. So I was like, something's better than nothing, because I drove all the way out there and I was like, I need some footage to bring back. So next time I definitely will have a better angle, though. I will use my helmet mount. So we are right here. This is actually west of Utah Lake, so by the time we reached this area, we already covered 40 miles of driving. So by the time we hit this area, we've already driven 40 miles on and off road to get to this spot. So we're actually riding right along the shoreline of Utah Lake. And sorry, I actually had to cut the audio out of this video because when I mounted my GoPro to the handlebars, I didn't have the cover on it, so I was trying to narrate this whole time, but all you could hear is like wind, just constant wind noise. So I'm sorry, I had to cut the audio completely out because it was unbearable. All you would hear is wind and then the sound of my engine revving, and that was it. Anyway, see how muddy it is here. We're riding right along the shore of Utah Lake. If you're not familiar with what Utah Lake is, it's a big lake south of Salt Lake City. It's near, on the other side of this lake is Provo, Orem, American Fork, all those places. So here I just found a little trail, and you can't really actually tell by this footage, but it was extremely muddy. Not only did it rain the previous days leading up to this trip, but it rained while we were riding. So you can't really tell, but it's like super muddy. And it also doesn't help that so I took my Dunlop D606 tire off, and I put some Shinko 705s on the front and back. So I don't have now you can see the mud there, it's pretty gnarly. So I didn't have the same grip as I did with my my knobby tires. Yeah, see, I started to slow down here because it was super muddy, and I was getting stuck in some of these ruts. And like the Shinko 705 is not a bad tire, but in deep mud, it's not the best tire to have. So I was slipping out quite a bit. Anyways, that's something I've learned about this tire, the Shinko 705, is if it's dry and fairly hard packed, the Shinko 705 does good. But if it's wet and muddy, I mean, most tires don't do good in the mud, but Shinko 705 is no exception. Now, if I had my Dunlop D606s on still, that would have definitely been better in this situation. But I didn't want to leave them on for this trip because we did a lot of road riding as well. So we probably did around 80 miles of road riding in the last 40 miles with 40 miles of off-road riding. So it was a mix of, 80 miles on-road, 40 miles off-road. So, and I only filmed like the highlights, like I said, of the off-roading sections because, who wants to watch 4 hours of highway riding or whatever, 3 hours. So this is pretty cool. We're getting a view of Utah Lake right here. Like I said, on the other side of this lake is Provo. And this is a cool like four-wheeler / truck trail I'm on. You can't really see the road that well, but it is super muddy. So I am sliding around quite a bit. Now, this is the longest trail I've ever done, or this is the longest ride I've ever done on my motorcycle ever. I know 120 miles doesn't sound like a lot, but when you mix in 40 miles of off-road, you kind of start getting beat up, and 120 miles is a lot. But yeah, so let's see here. I'm trying to see what we're coming up on. Yeah, just more shoreline trails. This is a pretty cool area to ride, except there's lots of signs down different trails that say private property, so I kind of had to stay on one particular trail the whole entire time. So I see that yellow sign right there. It says posted, keep out. Anyways, yeah, so this is my first super long ride on the KLR 650. 120 miles. Now I do have, and I think I have a 7-gallon tank. The standard gas tank on the KLR 650 is actually 6.1 gallons, and I got aftermarket tank which is 7.1 gallons. So I do have an extra gallon, so I can go over 200 miles on one tank easily. So I really didn't have to worry about running out of gas at all. Now my buddy who was riding with me, he has quite a smaller tank, a different bike, so he actually had to fill up once during our trip, but that's no big deal. Now the only scary part is once we started getting in the middle of nowhere where there's no gas stations, that would have been a bad area to run out of gas. So in that case, he probably should have carried like an extra couple gallons of gas on the back of his bike in one of those gas canisters. But luckily, he made it, and he didn't run out of gas. Halfway through the trip, he's like, "Man, you're so lucky you have a 7-gallon tank." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I can keep going for super long distances without having to gas up." Anyways, so yeah, that's one. KLR is super big, super heavy bike, but that thing, you can keep going and going and going. I'm pretty sure with my gas tank, if I'm driving fairly normal conditions, I can get like 230 miles, 200, maybe up to 250 miles in one tank of gas, which is pretty, it's pretty far. I mean, that's pretty, long distance. So now we're going to switch over in 1 second. It looks like it's blue skies, but it was pouring rain actually. It would be like this, blue skies, and then all of a sudden rain, and blue skies, and then rain, and then so some areas were easier to ride in. Like the road I'm on right now, I was able to go fourth gear, 50 miles an hour. But other areas, I'm not going 50 right now. I was going all second gear right now, maybe 30. But some areas, it was kind of weird because some areas on this road trip, adventure ride, whatever you want to call it, some areas were like super nice, super dry roads. You could be fifth gear, 70 miles per hour down a dirt road, perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden it would switch and it would be extremely muddy. Like you see this road here I'm on right now, it would turn into this. Like it would be a super nice road, and then it would turn into like a mud fest. And then you'd have to go into first gear and crawl through it, which kind of sucks, but we had to get through this trail. So as you can see in the corner there, pretty gnarly mud spots. Shinko 705, made it through, but some areas I was definitely fighting to get through the mud and the gunk, and definitely dropped the bike a couple times, and definitely I think I have one of those drops here on footage. But like here I had to completely stop because my back tire was spinning so much and I was just sliding back and forth that I was like, crap, dude, I gotta stop and think this out, because if you just go, balls to the wall, full throttle through this thing, you're gonna eat it and just slide into the mud. So I kind of had to devise a plan so I wouldn't completely drop my bike. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here. And I know a lot of people are like, man, you're crazy for going, you're crazy for riding your bike and stuff like this, because this is kind of like what's it called? This is like where you would take a truck to go mudding and get your truck all dirty and muddy. Not a lot of people would take, their big Enduros out here, but, this was part of the trail and we had to get through it, to do this big loop. So, we were going through these gnarly trails. As you can tell, I'm trying to figure out which is the best way to go. And then I had to turn the camera off because it started acting funny. Or I don't know. I think I turned the camera off. I forgot why I turned it off. Anyways, I had to push. Actually, I had to get off my bike and I had to walk my bike over to a dry section and then put a rock under my foot peg in order to get back on my bike because the mud was so deep. Anyways, I'm just showing you here. Look at how deep the trail is. We just went through there, all that mud. And you're like, oh, why don't you just go around? Some areas were too hard to go around. Even if you went in the grassy areas, you're like, oh, why don't you just go through the grass? You would sink as well. There's no easy way to get through this trail. So, some areas we just had to go through super high, 2-foot high puddles of mud. And here I'm just showing you how muddy my bike was so far. And this is about 55 miles into our trip at this point now. So yeah, we're almost halfway through our trip at this point, and I just stopped to show you kind of what my bike looked like, and I couldn't really get a good angle, but it was covered in mud. I mean, look at that. My back tire doesn't look so bad right there, but it was covered in mud, and so was my front tire. My bike doesn't look bad here, but there was one spot when we were on our way back hitting mile marker 90 or 95, and we were drenched from head to toe in mud. It was so crazy. So here we're just keep I think this was like a little lookout we were driving to see, make sure we were on the right path, because we actually did get lost, and I'll show you some of that footage here in a little bit. But we did get lost, and it was luckily our phones and our GPSs were working, so we were able to get out safely. But we did get lost a couple times, um, and it's kind of scary when you're out in the middle of nowhere, somewhere you've never been before, and then you're lost, and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do now? But luckily we were together and we had our GPSs on and stuff, and we didn't have to worry about that. So here's a look. We were just making sure went up this hill to make sure we were on the right path, and we were going the right way to get out to keep on going with the trail. And here I'm just showing you a little bit of where we just got done riding through. So that's Salt Lake towards that way I'm pointing to. And that way is where we're going to keep going on through our trail. So we're going to go ahead and head back down this hill. And we are going to continue going on our long adventure ride. Okay. So sorry, some of the footage is kind of slow at certain spots because I was just talking to my friend about making sure we're on the right track and we're going to the right areas. And so now we are heading back to the next spot. And again, right now, looks like it's all nice blue skies, easy, nice and easy. Well, let me tell you, it was 40 degrees Fahrenheit currently when you're watching this. And it was pretty windy and rainy, so it was not the best day to ride. It definitely wasn't like a nice sunny summer day. But anyways, I think you're about to see me crash my bike in a second. Yeah, you can look at how deep those ruts are. I mean, look at that right there. Like, holy crap. I didn't get it on footage. I I didn't get it on footage, but my buddy went through that right there, that huge puddle. He like drove his bike straight through it, and he got stuck like right at the end, so we had to pull his bike out of the. It was like a huge mud pit, as you can see. But anyways, so we just kept chugging along, and it was about 10 miles after this point when we reached the last gas station of the trip is when my friend had to gas up. And then I checked my gas tank and it was still over 3/4 full. So I was like, nah, I don't need gas, I'm fine. Yeah, so it was probably like 85% full, so I barely used any gas. So so now we're just going to continue the ride, going further and further back to the main trail, to get back onto the main trail and finish the ride or keep going on it. But dude, look, I'm going super slow because it's so muddy, and I was slipping out. And I think you're about to see me. You're about to see me fall in just a second, actually. Let's see. So we were trying to find the main road to keep going down, and then because we took a couple detours just to explore some stuff and take some pictures and stuff like that. So right now we are currently looking for the main road again. Anyways, I hit this little mud spot right here, and I was like, oh, dude, that got slippery really quick. As you could tell, I started going a little faster, but then it started getting slippery again. I was like, oh, see, like right there, I almost dropped my bike. I was like so close to dropping my bike. And again, it doesn't look muddy, but I mean, my tires are sinking into the mud driving through this stuff. So watch, you're about to see it. So I'm turning right in just a second, and I'm going to go through this area. And let's see. This one actually hurt right here. Bam. Oh man, there it is. And I dropped my bike. And here I picked up the camera and showed you. Man, it was. Oh, it doesn't look bad, but look. I mean, look at my feet. Look how muddy it is. Like, so I had to push my bike to like kind of a less muddy area to get back on it. That's only I dropped my bike like 3 more times after this later on in the ride. So I actually broke my right mirror, completely shattered it, and I now have to fix the alignment on my front handlebars and my forks because when I crashed, it kind of like put them out of alignment. So now we're getting back onto the main trail. Let's see here. Another kind of mistake is we didn't bring any food. So we just had to. I mean, I brought Gatorade. That's all I brought on this trip, and that was definitely kind of a mistake. Because if you get stuck or something out in the middle of nowhere, you should at least have some like protein bars or some kind of calorically dense foods with you or something like that. But luckily, we didn't get stuck. So. Now you can see I'm kind of picking up speed, and we are out of there. We are back on the main road, picking up some speed, getting ready to go to the next area, the next trail. And let's see here. Some spots you can't really tell that I'm like ending the footage and starting the next clip of the next scene, but we are actually in a totally different spot. Now that's a thing. A lot of part of the desert in Utah looks exactly the same, so it's like it looks like we're in the same spot, but we actually traveled like 10, 15 miles, and we're in like a whole different area. So even like on you can't really see what the road looks like, but it's like semi-wet, dirt road. Like the Shinko 705 is great for stuff like this because it's like it slides out a little bit, but it's not like any problems at all. And so I would say the only thing I ever had a problem with on the Shinko 705 was mud. But I mean, that's kind of a given because any tire is going to suck in the mud unless you have a crazy knobby tire. But I mean, even if I had a Dunlop D606 or the Shinko 805, knobby tire, I mean, those still aren't going to be that great in the mud because the mud your tire just gets covered in mud and you lose traction and it just kind of sucks. You saw me there almost fall. I had to slow that way down because I almost biffed it a couple times. Anyways, let's see here. Okay, so sorry, some of these areas are kind of boring, so there's nothing really to narrate. Um, so, like I said, a lot of Utah looks like this. I mean, in the desert. So, oops, almost okay. So this is let's see here. This is like mile marker. I'm trying to. Okay, so this is. We had about 25 miles left on the trip currently at this point that you're seeing. And at this point the roads were actually not so muddy, so I was able to keep it in fourth gear, go 50 miles an hour down the dirt roads, just hauling, but which was sweet because um, it was just nice because it would have sucked if all the roads were muddy and I would have had to go first gear the whole time. That would have made the trip a lot longer than it really was. Anyways, yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching this, condensed video of our 120-mile epic desert ride. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed filming it, and I enjoyed being on it, and I know that camera angle really does suck, but next time we go, I'm definitely going to have a different camera angle, and we're going to get some better shots, because I know these are kind of boring camera angles. I'm trying to make this little gadget where I can film from above, like you can see me riding, but like from the top view, so it's like a bird's eye view of me, so you're looking down. So I'm currently working on that, see how I can get that working. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to my channel. I mean, this is not only a motorcycle channel. We deal a lot with firearms, shooting guns, gun reviews, gun like tactics. How to improve your shooting, all sorts of different stuff like that. So if you want to learn more about that kind of stuff, go ahead and click that subscribe button. That would make me super happy. So yeah, go ahead and click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate that. And we're coming near the end of the video, so I didn't film like obviously this whole ride, but after we get down through these mountains, we actually still have another 25 miles to go. So this was a super duper long trip, and I only filmed 32 minutes of it. So like I said, after we got out of these mountains, we went back down, and the roads were terrible. They were just super deep ruts, mud, and we had about 10 miles of super nasty mud, dirty roads, which I dropped my bike 3 different times on those roads. And then from there, from there, we had about 15 miles of street roads to ride on to get back to our destination. But all in all, that stretch of from the bottom of the mountain to the street roads, that 10 miles was like hell. It was like super bad roads. So, and I wish I would have got it on camera, but like we were just trying to get through we just wanted it to be over, so we were just trying to get through that area and get back home. But I should have got that on camera because that was some gnarly roads. And anyways, so thanks for watching this video, guys. Like I said, I'm gonna work on getting a new style of filming for my motorcycle. I know this angle really does kind of suck, so I'm gonna figure out something a little better. Because I know a lot of people prefer like the third person view when they watch motorcycle videos, so I'm definitely gonna try something like that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. You know what I do not like about the GoPro is like all these hills look super small, even though they're actually like really gnarly. Like I'm about to climb up this hill right now, and it looks like nothing, but it was like pretty gnarly in person. Here you're gonna see it in just a second. Okay, watch this. It looks like it's like nothing, but it's actually like pretty gnarly. So this hill right here, going up, up. Look, that doesn't even look like it's bad, but like in person, it was like pretty ruddy and pretty gnarly. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. I appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. Check, every week I have new videos, and I hope you guys watch my other videos. And I will see you guys next week. And get out there and ride. See you guys.